Recently, the government launched a new chapter in Jamaica's employment landscape that is called the Skills on Demand app. It's a digital tool that helps people connect with work that matches their skills. The app allows individuals to list their services and be discovered by employers and clients across the island. The best part? All service providers on this platform will be certified by the Heart NSTA Trust, ensuring that the skills being offered meet the highest standards. We'll have more on this, plus other vital information on this first Friday of the Advent season's Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, December 6, 2024. 4 contracts have been signed, paving the way for work to begin this month under the government's much-anticipated Shared Prosperity through Accelerated Improvements to our Road Network (SPARK) program. The contracts were signed yesterday between the government and China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, the successful bidder on the project.
China Harbour has now effectively become a Jamaican company. Essentially, they have been working in Jamaica now for more than a decade, and we have grown to understand their working structures, and there is a very good understanding between the government of Jamaica, government of China, but also between NWA and China Harbour, and they know the quality of work that we expect.
The contracts signed cover work over a 2-year period, with an additional year identified as the defects liability period. They have a combined value of $36.04 billion, with an added $5 billion for water infrastructure, $2 billion of which will be spent on water mains.
The Jamaican public listening on should understand that the SPARK program is a capital investment. And the difference between regular maintenance and the capital investment is that the capital investment creates entirely new value.
60 main roads and approximately 600 priority roadways across the 63 constituencies have been identified for rehabilitation under SPARK. The work is grouped into 4 packages, with Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas being in Package 1. Package 2 has St. Catherine and Clarendon. Package 3, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland and Hanover, and Package 4, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. Prime Minister Holness also reveals that the first constituency in the corporate area to see work done will be St. Andrew Western, and the first in rural Jamaica is Northwest St. Elizabeth. During Thursday's contract signing, a SPARK website was launched on which persons can find a governance framework that was established for the project and approved by Cabinet. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has declared the island's road condition a national emergency as he announces an allocation of $2 billion for immediate maintenance. The project will be headed by the National Works Agency. It will involve the patching and restoration of roads that are high-volume traffic areas, as well as critical connection points and economically sensitive roads. The Prime Minister says the NWA is to supply Cabinet with the list of main roads for work to begin immediately. 3 residents of St. Catherine are the latest recipients of upgraded dwellings, courtesy of the new social housing program, NSHP. A former councillor, Byron Hibbert of Kitson Town, received a 3-bedroom house after fire engulfed his home, leaving him depending on relatives for shelter. Odeniki Smith, who went through a traumatic event that left the family home life unstable, is another beneficiary. So too is Andrea Hill, who broke down retelling her painful story before getting to this point.
We're very pleased that we're able to facilitate a transformation in your life, and especially in time for Christmas. And I'm sure all of Jamaica is celebrating with you. I'm very happy for you and see that you are genuinely deserving of this benefit.
Preparations are underway to address potential congestion at the island's airports during the upcoming holiday season. The assurance comes from the Minister of Transport, Darrell Vaz. According to the minister, while some challenges may arise during peak periods, particularly at the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, where most tourists enter Jamaica, he remains confident in the readiness of the facilities.
I made sure to check with the immigration and customs in relation to what provisions they're putting in place for the high season, which is upon us, and I'm satisfied that there are new kiosks have been installed, which will also ease the issue of the immigration congestion.
Minister Vaz made the remarks as he toured the newly renovated government VIP lounge at the Norman Manley International Airport, NMIA, on Wednesday. He says that with this and other significant improvements made, passengers can look forward to a transformed travel experience at the Kingston Airport.
A lot of work has been done. What is very clear is that the issue with the air condition is now fully resolved based on the coolers that were replaced. And that was really one of the biggest misery index factors. You can see the transformation in terms of the retiling and the whole look of the airport.
The minister also provided updates on 2 major infrastructure projects set to further modernize the airport. The apron, where planes are parked, will undergo an 18-month reconstruction costing $53 million. Meanwhile, the runway expansion, slated to begin in April 2025, will be done over 27 months, adding 300 meters to the current runway at an estimated cost of $66 million.
The issue of the apron is far advanced contractor selected, and it's really just to go through the processes for the mobilization, etc. And then in terms of the runway expansion, that also is far advanced in terms of quotations coming in, and basically just has to go through the process to be able to obviously sign the contract and mobilize. So.
And finally, Minister of Labour and Social Security Pernell Charles Jr. is urging persons to drive carefully on the roads, especially as we head into the holiday season. The minister, who was speaking at Grinnell's On the Road, On the Job International Safety Workshop recently, recommends that people assign a designated driver if they intend to drink.
We don't want to have a situation where fatalities are dropping and the numbers are still in the hundreds. We're a small country, and if we take care of ourselves, if we have a collective effort, then the movement up or down won't be by chance. It should be a deliberate effort to mitigate and eliminate road deaths. There's no reason other than our own decisions why we have so many deaths on the road.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for staying with us. Whether the interaction with law enforcement feels like a good cop, bad cop scenario or not, it is crucial to conduct yourself in a calm, respectful, and cooperative manner when stopped by the police. Here's how you should handle those situations.
As a police officer, I would implore all our drivers to be safe, to operate motor vehicles and drive safely. Road safety is a concern for every Jamaican citizen. Once you operate or drive safely, you make it a safe environment for all other persons to operate, whether it be the pedestrian, the motorcyclist, or the public passenger vehicles.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Keep your vehicles serviced so they're in prime condition to handle anything the road throws at them. Follow road signs and traffic signals to avoid dangerous situations and prevent collisions with other drivers or even pedestrians. Do not drink alcohol before or while behind the wheel. We all know these road safety guidelines, but many don't realize that obeying the directions of police officers in the traffic space is another critical component of road safety. They are there to ensure order is being maintained and disrupt any criminal act that may be in progress, especially those involving the use of a vehicle.
So the police from time to time will conduct operations. We class them as crime reduction operations. So from national roadblock operation, speed enforcement operation, vehicle checkpoint operation, spot checks, and so on, in which officers will be stopping you. They will be checking first to see if any breaches of the Firearms Act, the Dangerous Drugs Act, the Customs Act are being detected. If there's any breach of the Road Traffic Act, that will be dealt with.
So, what's your role in helping to not hinder these activities and potentially place yourself in danger? Simple. Follow the directives of the officer that stops you.
On being stopped by the police, as a member of the motoring public or the motorist, you should bring your vehicle to a complete stop. You should bring down all your windows and keep your hands on the steering and listen for all instructions from the police. There can be multiple reasons that can arouse the police officer's suspicion and multiple breaches that can come under different legislations. You do not want to drive away from a police officer because it means that firstly you may be issued a traffic ticket for failing to comply with a constable's command. As also at Section 7 of the Road Traffic Act, you must produce your documents to the police. It is an offense for you not to produce your documents when instructed to do so by the police. So you hand the officer your driver's license, vehicle documents, then you can ask a question. You do not want a situation in that you are utilizing the electronic communication device, which is your phone, to make a call when the vehicle is in operation on the road, because that is a breach of the Road Traffic Act and you may be prosecuted for it.
And even once the vehicle has stopped, you should also refrain from using your mobile device while interacting with the police.
It would not be practicable to make a call whilst you're being searched by the officer, whilst a motor vehicle is being searched. You are required to be in full attendance at that part. But upon confirmation of what is requested of you, you should comply with the instructions given and allow the officer to carry out his duties. Good morning, ma'am. Sergeant Martindale. I'm attached to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. Could you bring down all your windows for me, please?
At this point, follow the officer's instructions carefully. It's crucial to listen attentively and not make any sudden movements. This ensures both your safety and the officers.
We implore all our motorists to drive safely, comply with instructions, comply with signs given. At no time should you be arguing with the officer, shouting at the officer, or you should try to assault the officer in the performance of his or her duties. You should comply, look, listen for all signals, all instructions.
So the next time you're behind the wheel, remember, safety first. By following the rules of the road and instructions of our police officers, it not only protects you, but all road users.
Making my way downtown, walking walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Early detection of neurodivergent conditions such as autism, ADHD, and learning disabilities plays a critical role in a child's development and well-being. Our next feature will give reasons why identifying these conditions early is so important.
The sooner you know, the better. Understanding children with neurodivergent conditions is crucial for providing the right support and creating environments where they can truly thrive. In this feature, we will delve into the complexities of two of these disorders, autism and ADHD, and explore the efforts being made to help Jamaican children flourish regardless of their unique realities.
Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a developmental disorder characterized by challenges in social interaction, communication, and repetitive behaviors. Children with autism may struggle with understanding social cues and forming relationships and may prefer to play alone. The systems vary and differ in each child, but among them, those on the spectrum might not make eye contact or respond to their names. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects a child's ability to focus, control impulses, and regulate activity levels. It is typically diagnosed in childhood and can persist into adulthood. Children with ADHD may struggle with sustaining attention, following instructions, or organizing tasks. They may seem forgetful or easily distracted.
The 2021 report by UNICEF showed that there are 16 million children between the ages of 10 and 19 in Latin America and the Caribbean who have mental disorders. In Jamaica, we are about 1 in 7. However, because our resources are so limited in terms of the state resources and so on, a lot of the children go unidentified. It is important that we identify our children early so that we can provide the necessary accommodations and interventions that they need to be successful.
Early intervention is essential if you've identified any of the symptoms linked to autism or ADHD. Fortunately, there are advocates like the Z Learning Center, which has been a steadfast supporter of the Ministry of Education, helping to ensure that every child receives the necessary support.
Once a parent comes in and we do an assessment, it is then sent to the Ministry of Education. So, for instance, a child who is in grade 4 who is assessed and is doing PEP, grades 4, 5, or 6. Once we do the assessment and the recommendation the child needs a shadow, or the child needs a scribe, or the child needs a reader, that is sent to the Ministry of Education, and they then provide the accommodations for the children.
Established in 2015, Z Learning Center provides full psychosocial assessments for children on the autism spectrum and those showing signs of ADHD.
We know that all children are capable of learning. They may learn differently, and they may learn not in the same way and the same day as a regular child. So we call children that we deal with predominantly neurodivergent children, as opposed to neurotypical children who are seen as a regular child.
Early intervention programs are very important to assess the needs of a child, and that includes both psychosocial and educational assessments. These assessments help identify children on the spectrum, those who may be dyslexic, have ADHD, or other developmental delays.
When a parent or a pediatrician recommends a child because they may see some developmental delays, such as the child may be nonverbal, the parent comes and the first thing we do is a consultation. We ask what they're seeing or what the referral is from the pediatrician. We then take the parent through a rigorous interview, and we then send documents to the teachers who may have had interactions with the child, as well as we do direct observations as well of the child. The entire process can take up to 4 hours depending on the age of the child. We have been assessing children as young as 2 years and 6 months who present with profiles of being on the autism spectrum. So you can appreciate that a 2-year-old may be different from a 10-year-old in terms of the length of the assessment. So we do also have early intervention, which we start at 3-year-olds and we go all the way to 7-year-olds.
Creating an educational plan after assessment is crucial, with each plan tailored to the child's specific needs to ensure their developmental success.
We have been working with quite a few preschools who they have seen children who are on the spectrum, and so they send the children here for what we call early intervention. The early intervention lasts for a year and then the children are reintegrated into preschool. So when they come to us, they are for the most part nonverbal. They don't respond to their names. They don't maintain eye contact, which are, red flags as to a child being on the spectrum. We work with them and then they are reintegrated into their regular preschool. It is important that parents are involved because the school alone cannot help a child to be successful, because we need parents to be able to carry out the same activities at home.
It's important to remember that while autism cannot be cured, children can learn to cope with the disorder and diagnosis. Similarly, intervention is available for the range of neurodivergent conditions children face. So the sooner you know, the better.
Parents, please don't be overwhelmed if you think your child is on the spectrum. It is not a death sentence. Autism is something that can be worked with. Your child can be just as successful. There are many celebrity, I would say, persons who are autistic, people who are also ADHD. Simone Biles, who is the most decorated gymnast in the United States, is ADHD. However, we need to have our children's best interest at heart, and so the earlier we diagnose and remediate, the better it is for our children.
At the start of the show, you were introduced to the Heart NSTA Trust Skills on Demand app, designed to connect certified skilled workers with employers. But what if you're a skilled worker without the formal certification or qualifications to prove your expertise? Here's what you can do. Contact the Heart NSTA Trust and find out the process to validate and formalize your skills. All you need to do is undergo the Prior Learning Assessment, PLR. Once certified, you can join the app and start offering your services right away. The Skills on Demand app is a significant step toward building a more connected, dynamic, and digitally savvy workforce in Jamaica. For more information, visit Skills on Demand at heartnsta.org.
It looks like I'm all ready to go, but am I really? Yes, I'm doing all the right checks to make sure my vehicle is road ready. But what about everybody else? How do I get ready for them?
Driving to save lives, time and money in spite of the conditions around you and the actions of others. But in a nutshell, we want to ensure that we leave our destination and we reach home safely without creating any harmful situation for any other road users.
Using the techniques of defensive driving helps you to reduce the chance of other people's mistakes affecting you and your vehicle.
You must always be aware that though you might be a good defensive driver, the other road users a lot of times aren't. People will borrow your lane, people will overtake carelessly because they're tired of being in front of a vehicle that is slower than them or a truck.
The government is targeting behavioral change among drivers to reduce the country's vehicular collisions and fatalities, and defensive driving is one of the tools. Grinnell's driving school is known for championing safe driving. Director and instructor Seth Grinnell leads us through some useful defensive driving techniques. Let's learn.
The road code says that the person who arrives first should be allowed to go first, assuming that everyone now, of course, comes to a stop at the stop sign. We'll creep to our line of vision to see if it's safe to go. I'm going to make a right turn and then I proceed. Using the cover and scan technique, when approaching an intersection, we usually want to shadow our brake, but most times what we do, we toot our horn, we don't slow down because we believe the horn will stop the person's vehicle pressing their brake for them. That's not the technique we should use. So when the light turns to green, we wait at least 2 seconds. Then we scan our intersection, ensure no one is running their light, and then we proceed safely. All right, so we're on Hope Road, and this road slopes slightly downhill. So it's very easy for you to gather speed without even knowing. Now the speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour, but I can promise you, I am going 50 now, and you realize that people will be passing me with ease. Now, one of the biggest issues here is that people always crash into the wall right at waterfalls there. Now, there are adequate road signs. We can see the road signs, the backdrop, which speaks to caution or warning, and the left arrow bent like that means left bend. So caution, left bend. Now, if you do not slow down, there's even a recommended speed here, I promise you your vehicle will only try to go straight. You will not be able to maneuver the bend, and the wall shall meet you. So the road signs should be adhered to.
Eager to learn, we quizzed Seth some more about other defensive driving techniques and how to deal with the narrow roadways, especially in rural Jamaica.
Bumper-to-bumper collisions is one of the highest crashes that we have, especially in built-up areas. Within Kingston, we have a lot of built-up areas, people who are late, people who are impatient, and the closer you are to the vehicle in front of you, the more likely that if you are distracted, if you aren't really aware of the situation, you'll end up into the back of the vehicle. Even a sneeze, because when you sneeze, sometimes you jerk forward and before you know it, you're in someone's trunk. A lot of times what happens, you might be peacefully going about your way. Someone bad drives you, and then they give you some choice words, the body language, and you believe that you have to meet them in kind. You just have to let it go. It doesn't positively impact your driving. A lot of times it leads to you taking unnecessary risks. So you want to take extra caution, use up your horn to alert the road users in front of you that you are coming and that they should hold their side of the road and so forth.
There are many ways to deal with the far too many lives being lost on our nation's roads. Government's enactment of the New Road Traffic Act is helping to actualize the transformation by issuing harsher penalties for road safety breaches. Defensive driving puts the driver in the seat to save lives. With more calculated efforts and responsible actions, it protects the most vulnerable road users and benefits all without a cost.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.